Hell of a lineup today. Just saw an interview Cameron had with Mayweather, and everybody know Mayweather been in the spotlight. They trying to say Money Mayweather broke. They saying Money Mayweather out of money. That's what they trying to say about the brother. And saying he owed peoples, and he took a loss, took $175 million loss. This guy, they even saying Mike Tyson and Pacquiao is suing Mayweather for money that they didn't receive during the fight that they had with I don't know what Tyson talking about, but some that's supposed to happen between him and Mike Tyson. But nevertheless, they just throwing all type of shit out there on him. I seen the interview with Cameron and Money Mayweather, and the brother seemed to be. I mean, he don't seem to be sweating at all. You know what I'm saying? I could tell when the motherfucker's sweating. And he done came out and say my shit tight, He's saying that, man, I'm eating, you know what I'm saying? He say if he told people all the shit that he owned, you couldn't, so he's saying he's tight. And most people in the comments, I checked the comments, and they said the same thing. He seemed to be very confident. He explained himself that a lot of people is disgruntled with him, for various reasons. Because, I mean, it'd be a big, somebody get the big pot, somebody get the little pot. That's just how that go, And so, obviously, Money Mayweather get the bigger pot. And when people run out of their money, they tend to be disgruntled. And they say, "Well, he didn't pay me," But you got paid. You got paid what you were supposed to get. And he say, yeah, a couple of people's then let him down. Financial advisors, and that's where the watch thing came into play, because they said he wrote a check, to buy a watch, and the check bounced. But he trying to say, he was depending on somebody else to, have the money available. You know how you have a money advisor, or somebody that take care of your money, money manager, and they didn't take care of business, and so it left him holding, it left him holding the ball and shit, but the crazy shit is, and money, and Mayweather was saying, like, motherfuckers have made a lot of money off of him. Black Power family, betting on him and shit. They didn't bet on it because they know he gonna have the victory. He gonna come with the victory, And so a lot of people have betted in Las Vegas and shit, made money off of Mayweather, and he bringing the package. He bringing the package deal, and so people get to come, they get to pull up. They get to pull up in their cars and shit, get out, almost like an award. Well, you get to dress up, come out to the Money Mayweather fight, you feel what I'm saying, and win big. Motherfuckers is betting on Money Mayweather, and they pulling in, the winnings and shit. But soon as they get the winnings, then they prey on the nigga downfall. They pray. He said these same motherfuckers is praying on his downfall. And, and you can see this shit in Hollywood, across the board. They stay taking a nigga shit. They find all the ways, after you make some money, they find all the motherfucking ways to take the money. How many motherfuckers do you see keep the money? You know what I'm saying? How many? A lot of these boxers, and that's why, I salute Mayweather, because he managed not to get beat all the fuck up. You know, most of them, even his own uncle. Was that his uncle and his dad? If you listen how they talk, and they was boxers, I think. Yeah, man, they all fucked up. You know, his uncle and shit. He don't even remember who he is. That was a long time ago. Say he don't even know who the fuck I am. You know, and his father and shit, you could hear the slur. You know, a lot of them, man, they be beat the fuck up, you know, and so the fact that he was able to get out the game, you know, and he still, you know, he like natural, you know what I'm saying? It don't look like he had no defects, you know, from fighting because he didn't really take a lot of punishment. You feel what I'm saying? And so, uh, you know, and he made the money. You know, he made a lot of money, and so you know, I salute him for that. But you know, when it comes to a lot of our artists, you know, music artists, actors, and you know, sports celebrities and shit. A lot of them, you know, for some reason, man, they get down on their fucking luck. Something went wrong. You know, they in debt and shit and this, that, and the third. And I think a lot of time motherfuckers root to see a motherfucker crash out. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers ain't even verify none of this shit. Soon as they hear a motherfucker doing bad, motherfuckers get to rooting. You know 50 Cent gonna go on there and troll like a motherfucker. Even though 50 Cent was doing bad for a minute. Yeah, 50 Cent took a L for a minute because, you know, he had a lawsuit for something. Yeah, he had a lawsuit he took a L. Yeah, that motherfucker took an L. He had to make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? So he did make a comeback, but yeah, you know, so it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't rooting, you know, for no black man or woman. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, getting paper to, you know, just lose their wealth. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's bullshit. If nothing else, keep the wealth. You know what I'm saying, and find a way to fucking you know, get some of that money flowing down to the general public, you know, the black community. And so, you know, a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of motherfuckers be hating. You see what I'm saying? When you got motherfuckers rooting for your downfall, you go all in the comments and all these motherfuckers, and that's what motherfuckers love to do. That's what they love to do. That's what it is. That's why motherfuckers' content be about a motherfucker falling down. Or you know what I'm saying? You can't come up, but that's why the news come like the fuck they come. You know what I'm saying? They gonna come with, oh, this person got smoked, this motherfucker got smoked. You know, they gonna come with that all the fucking time. You know why? Because that's what people want to hear. Really, they do. You know, because if they didn't want to hear that shit, they would make a motherfucking change. You know, and so they want to hear, the beefs and shit. You know, they like the rap beefs. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers come out for the verses. You know, any type of competition against one another. That's what motherfuckers come out for. You know, and so, you know, I'm rooting for the nigga to, you know, at least keep his paper. He got a family, take care of his family. You know, what more the fuck can you ask? You know what I'm saying? You take care of motherfucking, but see a lot, you know, black people gotta get that hater shit out of them, man. You know what I'm saying? Praying on motherfuckers downfall. Got to stop that. Got to stop that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just because, you know, Mayweather may not live like most motherfuckers want him to live. That's his paper. He made it. He went in there and fought the fights. You know what I'm saying? He said he ain't paid his employees at the gym in L.A. in months. He had to sell his gym to Pacquiao. Strip shut down. Employees ain't been paid. We right here in the city and know what it is. Okay, so you know what it is. Okay. Motherfuckers liquidate every day. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, motherfuckers move shit around. Yeah, okay. I ain't saying he ain't. You know what I'm saying? But niggas was praying on his downfall before any of this shit was even happening. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just like, you know, you might got a couple receipts. But this ain't nothing new. Motherfuckers was hating on this shit long before I heard any motherfucking thing. So maybe y'all done created a certain energy, around the nigga, and maybe the 175 million was a hit. Maybe it was he took a hit, you know? Okay. Well, I heard him ask about some shit. I just heard him ask about some shit. You say that was all. Well, he supposed to be having a new one. But everybody know. Y'all act like y'all the motherfucker keeping his books and shit. Maybe if y'all keeping his books and shit, I see shit too, but I walk lightly because unless you keeping the motherfucking books and you in the inside, cause it could be the nigga took a hit. It could be the nigga took a hit. Motherfuckers take hits, and motherfuckers have to, when you take that motherfucking hit, then you have to move shit around. Maybe it is some shit, ain't right. Maybe it ain't, maybe you have to move some shit around. You take a motherfucking hit, nigga, you have to move shit around until you could do it like you need to do it. Was that always the case? Was that always the case? God damn, you know what I'm saying? But see, that's the thing, in that game, if you roll in the dice and some motherfuckers take the hit, some of them motherfuckers invest in certain shit and that shit don't be legit and motherfucker do take a hit. You know what I'm saying? That shit happen. But that's different than a motherfucker like Don King, who everybody in the motherfucking fight game said, everybody say he greasy. Now, if he been paying motherfuckers down through the years and then all of a sudden shit get, some shit happen and now motherfucker, got to move some shit around to take care of business to get back where he was, motherfuckers have to, you can't just jump off the bandwagon as soon as a motherfucker seen, the boat get to rocking. I don't never let no another man come in my pocket. Because if you do, you're going to always come up broke. That's true. But a lot of times, motherfuckers do have money managers. Okay? They do have money managers that know better than you do how to, supposedly. And some motherfuckers take care of business. Some motherfuckers don't. You see what I'm saying? So you can count the money, but when you investing in certain areas, you need a motherfucker to know what they know. But you still right. You still, like I said, you still want to, send me some motherfucking notifications every motherfucking time some shit go down. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust no motherfucker with that kind of money. And you right. You can't. You got to always be double checking on the motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? Making sure that shit go where motherfuckers say it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And gonna do what they say it's gonna do. And so yeah, but hey, some motherfuckers have to learn, you know what I'm saying? But that's no reason to celebrate a motherfucker downfall. You feel what I'm saying? That ain't no motherfucking way to celebrate. I done seen a whole lot of niggas fall down. You feel what I'm saying? And I mean, and you can see the motherfucker hurt on the nigga face, but the motherfucker had to get back up, nigga, and get out there and grind, nigga. That's just all you could do. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, man, Money say his paper's straight. You know what I'm saying? He say he's straight. Now a lot of people out there saying, hey, motherfuckers ain't getting paid. We gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker might show up and surprise a motherfucker. Once his shit straight, he might motherfucker come with them Christmas checks. You don't know. Hold on. You ain't never had a motherfucker say, hold on? Hold on, dog. You feel what I'm saying? I got you. And you just got to, and some motherfuckers do have you, some motherfuckers don't. But if he been taking care of your ass and he say hold on for a second, hold the fuck on. You feel what I'm saying? He might, as soon as he get his shit tight, he might come with them Christmas checks. Make a motherfucker smile again. You feel me? I see y'all in a minute. Click that Patreon down there. Get over there, support the General. We got the generalseti One Stop. Got that classic work over there. DVDs, all the classic hard HD hard copy. You need that. See y'all in a minute. Black Pop.